Well, good morning. It's another snowy, freezing cold morning down here in Kent, and this you might recognise as Stone Cold Classics. I've been here often enough after all, but you may not recognise this gentleman here. This is Wayne, who is Mr. Stone Cold Classics. Now, some of you may recognise him because I know a few of you have been down and bought the cars. But yeah, today we are going to go in an adventure, obviously in separate cars because of COVID rules. But yeah, Wayne and I are going to go and pick up a very interesting and exciting car. We drove something very similar a few months ago. Are you quite excited to get this car, Wayne?
I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Have you ever seen one like it before?
Not exactly like it. Obviously we had one before, but it was slightly different in its manufacture. But it's got some great provenance and fully restored, so we're expecting a good car.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting. Also will be exciting will be the drive down to collect it, 'cause it's about 100 miles?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half in this kind of weather. Wish us luck. So this is the car we've driven all the way to somewhere near Newport Pagnell for to go and have a look at. It's another Hustler. Yeah, so last year we drove the wooden car, which was basically the same shape as this, but made completely out of marine timber. Of course, it had a plasticky, fiberglassy metal floor, but the rest of the bodywork was, made of timber. But it was quite the thing. It was like driving a 1980s conservatory. This, though, is more how he envisioned it to be the production car. This is the fully, I think it's fiberglass bodied Hustler 4. It was fully restored about 4 years ago, as in completely nut and bolt stripped back to a basic kit. Originally had an 1100 engine put into it, and now has a 1275 with Maselli head, which I'll show you in a second. A couple of other little upgrades around it. It has these rather nice cosmic alloy wheels, which really do suit the thing. The LED lighting along the front, I believe there's LEDs in the back. The orange does make it kind of stand out a lot more. And I've just learned apparently this Hustler font was a military font from the 70s, which I was not aware of previously. This air intake, again with the orange accenting, is normally facing forward, but it's very, very cold, so it's been turned around for the moment, as it'll be sucking too much cold air. Single wiper again, as on the other one. Massive, big plate windscreen, and easy getting in the outy handles, of course. A slight highlighting of the mirrors here in the orange, which is cool. And these arch extensions, which do set the side of the car off quite a lot. They make it look a lot more chunky and interesting. These were missing from this car when it arrived. The owner who restored it had to buy a wrecked one in order just to get these 4 arch extensions, or wheel arches even. The rest of the car, the donor car, there's nothing else virtually salvageable. It had been very heavily used over its lifetime, but these were all good, so they were saved. We have the same massive wind doors, these huge glass panels down the side, which with this nice brown tint do look like something from a 1980s hi-fi cabinet or TV cupboard. You expect to pull that back and find a row of VHSs in pretend leather-bound books. This one has a different take on the sunroof. This is a twin porthole-looking roof, again with orange highlighting, and we've got this large roof rack area complete with lash-down bars, so you can put your extra luggage on top. Actually, no, it hasn't got LED lights around the back. I was wrong. These are just sort of fairly ordinary lights, unlike the wooden one, which had got some. I forget what they were now. Were they Hillman lights or something? They were quite unusual, quite stylish. These are more basic. I think they're trailer or caravan spec, but they do have which didn't have previously, the Interstill logo in the correct font, and quite a cool handmade exhaust on this. And of course the huge rear window again. This is quite the beast. It really is quite an amazing thing. Now, do you think it looks better in the white or worse? I actually really like it. The wooden car had a massive amount of character thanks to the timber, and it made it very, very unique. This one looks much more clean, much more 1980s. That would look amazing sat next to my Sinclair C5, wouldn't it? That'd be so very cool. Let's have a quick look inside. So, when the car arrived, I believe the owner said it basically had a pair of deck chairs sat on the in the front instead of a chair. This is now the rear seat. You notice it's a 60/40 folding front bench seat from my Toyota Yaris, I believe he said, and it actually slides back and forth as well, so you've got a bit more exciting stuff. Now let's have a look at the dashboard. We've got a carbon fibre dash panel running the width of the car, a nice Austin Mini badge. This was originally I believe a minivan donor once upon a time, and we've got some very, very late 70s, early 80s looking fuel oil temperature gauges there, with a DAB radio. I did notice there's a DAB antenna, a couple of switches and warning lights, a very cool chunky mini steering wheel, and the smallest little tacho you've ever seen. Check out this GPS speedometer. Speedos are often not very accurate on older cars. Put a GPS on there, you are never going wrong with that. Other than that, this is a very simple, minimalistic, racing-inspired dashboard. And check out this little tiny gear knob, just milled. I don't know what kind of metal it is actually. I'm going to say aluminium because it's not rusty. And the floor, we've got the rubber coating. These side panels are moulded plastic. So we've got the GRP on the outside, moulded plastic interior. And that big glass area in the top and around the sides does make the whole thing incredibly airy inside. Let's look under the bonnet. There's no bonnet release in the car, just these little pull-up tags either side. Going underneath here, we've got a very orange engine. This is an Nacelle head, so it's quite the potent little unit down there, 1275cc. I'm not sure what the donor car was for this, but you can see the difference between this car and the wooden car in the way it's all, well, not laid out exactly, but the wiring, the fuses, that's kind of a thing that's all very much different. It does look very cool. I'll take this for a drive just around the industrial estate. Get to take it for a short little spin in just a moment. It does look really cool, doesn't it? It starts easy enough. We have the reassurance of a seatbelt and some fairly solid angle iron going over my head. So let's see what this thing is like on the road. The pedals are so small that I can't do any of the pedals at once. This is certainly more pokey than the little wooden one was. I guess it weighs so much less without the timber on it. And look at the extra poke of that hot 1275. Oh, this is brilliant! Really quick. Okay, I've come the wrong way. There's a dead end. Reverse. Steering wheel feels amazing. It's not quite centered right, but that's an easy fix. Everyone is staring, as always, in a Hustler. You cannot be discreet or self-conscious in one of these things. Oh, it rattles like crazy again, of course, they always do. The big old windows, you really do get a window on the world with them on, open. turn around again. But I'm really glad, really am glad that the snow does not extend to this part of the country. It's so much warmer here than it was back home. Oh, this thing is just so direct. It's like a Mini on steroids. Their engine is really responsive, and the steering and suspension are just tight as a drum. Brilliant. I'm very much enjoying this car. I like the other one, the wooden one. I think I like this one more, if I'm honest. It's brilliant. I wasn't sure those little handles on the outside were going to be essential for getting in and out, but they certainly make it a lot easier. This Yaris bench is a bit different in style from the old ones, which I think had a Jag interior on the previous one. Really comfortable. Oh, needs power steering at low speed because those cosmics are quite wide. Here we go again. Everyone has come out of their unit to go and look at this car now. It is brilliant. Not a car for the faint-hearted, the shy, retiring type. Oh, heavy steering. Feels a lot more, but so much fun. Now let's take it back in the trailer now. That is so much fun. I think I need a Hustler in my life. This is brilliant. What an insane, brilliant car. I like it. It's got a Sony stereo, clearly.
Hi, my name's Paul. I bought this car in 2014 and it was just a bare shell, really. I'm ex-Aston Martins, so I knew about William Towns. I bought this as a non-running project and I took it back and done a nut and bolt restoration, and I love it.
So it was obviously not driving, no engine when you bought it, you said?
No engine, no anything really, no trim, no steering rack, no anything.
So the hardest thing I imagine would be finding parts to make it all come together with a car like this.
No, I think everything's out there, you just got to find it really.
So knowing people through clubs or contacts in the industry, or
contacts in the industry, and also if I couldn't find it, I just made it.
Oh, fair enough.
We can make the bodies, we can make anything really.
Not everyone can do that though, so you're kind of in a lucky position to...
Well, yeah, in an ideal position, I think that's the phrase, yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to think I've put some of my own individual twists on it.
What colour scheme was it when you got it?
All white. That's standard Towns dash, but the carbon fibre inserts are mine, yeah.
And the GPS speedo, that's a nice little touch.
Yeah, the GPS was good. The linear speedo I had was from Austin 1100 and it was awful. Absolutely awful.
Inaccurate and wavering.
Inaccurate, and it was a band that had faded.
So you couldn't even see that it was wrong.
Yeah, so the digital age has come to it.
You started with an 1100 engine initially.
1100 Acelli. I know Dave Eales at Acelli. And I've ended up with a 1275. And it was just engine that was about, really.
one of those engines that's knocking around for a while and then
people start projects and end projects, yeah. And, you know.
So you're sad to say goodbye to it?
I really am, actually. In fact, I'm questioning my sanity. If I didn't have another one, I'd feel bad.
Well, he's down to his last hustler.
Down to his last hustler.
It's a hard life. Well, Paul is a very lucky man indeed to have owned this and still to own something else, but now we talk to the new owner. So Wayne, are you happy you've got another one? You're a serial hustler buyer.
Yeah, I'm really pleased actually. I was talking to Paul about this earlier, and I think it's quite an important car. Yeah. I mean, Towns was a really important designer. Not a lot of people know about him, but
no.
And actually a lot of people don't like the straight line sort of design language. But if you look at his back catalogue, the the Lagonda, and obviously he did the DBS as well. Was it the Mini Simmer that he did that little Minimisa? Yeah, that's a fantastic, really modern bit of kit from the 70s. It still looks good. Jetson Healy front, yeah. So an important man and an important car, and actually you can see that working in so many different ways. You know, electrify it.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
You know, it's just a cool thing. It's just so 70s. It reminds me of sort of prisoner movies and stuff like that. And yeah, how can you not love it?
Absolutely,
you know,
it's fantastic.
It's right up my street 'cause it's so unusual. But
definitely.
Yeah, and it properly built.
Yes,
so that's
really
the main
nicely
thing.
put together.
Because you never know with these things whether who's built them and how they built them and what they.
Because you really like the wooden one you had, that was really nicely put together as well, wasn't it? And then this one,
by a proper engineer, and again by another engineer. So
Yeah.
once they're built properly, I just think that's a genuinely important and special little car.
Absolutely. What you need is a long wheel base six-wheeler. Then you can put your Sinclair C5 in the back of it. Right, so this is fantastic. We've had a fun day out collecting this new Hustler to go back into Stone Cold Classics. I'm going to head off. I've got something else to buy on the way home because it turns out I'm really near a nice set of Rover alloys. But thanks for joining us today. This car will next be seen on Stone Cold's website. Take care everyone, and I'll see you soon.